A few days before the election in the British province of Northern Ireland, the nationalist party Sinn Fein is demanding plans from the Republic of Ireland for possible unification. Discussions are needed about what the economy and a common health and education system on the island of Ireland could look like, Sinn Féin politician Michelle O'Neill told the Reuters news agency. It is irresponsible of the government in Dublin not to make any preparations for this. A union could come before the end of the decade. She does not want to commit to a date for a possible referendum, but people know that a constitutional change will come. O'Neill was Northern Ireland's Deputy First Minister and was forced to resign in early February when First Minister Paul Givan of the Protestant pro-British Democratic Unionist Party, the DUP, threw down because of the Brexit trade rules. According to polls, O'Neill's Catholic-leaning Sinn Féin party could become the strongest force in government for the first time in the May 5th vote in Belfast, where representatives of both camps must always rule together. This provision is part of the 1998 Good Friday Agreement, which ended decades of violence in Northern Ireland. The predominantly Catholic nationalists are striving for union with the Republic of Ireland, while the Protestant Unionists are in favor of remaining in the United Kingdom. The Good Friday Agreement also provides that a referendum can be called if there is a majority in favor of uniting Northern Ireland with the rest of Ireland. I think the Irish government needs to focus on constitutional amendment plans, O'Neill said, and she said, there has to be a town meeting. Great Britain's exit from the EU has given the Northern Ireland issue new explosiveness and above all led to discussions about the border between the British province and EU member Ireland. In the 2016 Brexit referendum, Northern Ireland voted to remain in the EU. And Brexit has some consequences, and there were a lot of promises on the part of the Leave campaign. Boris Johnson promised Brexit would allow Britain to take back control of its borders by ending free movement with the EU. But what does it look like today? According to an analysis, more foreign nationals will come to the UK this year than before Brexit. The number of non-EU workers, students and family members who have been granted visas has already increased by more than 50% to over 840,000 since the UK voted to leave the EU in 2016. According to British Future, a think tank specializing in immigration and integration, lower salary and skill thresholds for foreign workers, the expansion of scarcity jobs and the end of restrictions on students continuing to work after graduation have all contributed to this increase. The numbers this year will be bolstered by Ukrainian refugees fleeing the Russian invasion, estimated at around 50,000, and up to 150,000 Hong Kongers arriving in the UK on British national overseas visas. Sundar Katwala, the director of British Future, said, overall immigration will be greater than before Brexit because growth outside the EU will be greater than the decline in EU migrants. This year could be higher than any other year in recent British history. It came about through active policy decisions by the government to facilitate immigration. In the referendum campaign and since, Boris Johnson promised that Brexit would allow Britain to take back control of its borders by ending free movement with the EU. However, he rejected the goals of his predecessor Theresa May, which aimed to keep net migration below 100,000 per year and instead took a much more liberal approach to post-Brexit immigration. While he is cracking down on what he calls illegal migration, as illustrated by plans to send channel migrants to Rwanda on a one-way ticket, he has relaxed rules on foreign skilled migrants and students with sponsored jobs or university places in the UK. But he faces a backlash when an organization that often sounds the alarm about mass immigration warned that his promise to take control of the UK's borders through a new post-Brexit point system was clearly a sham. Alp Mehmet, the chair of Migration Watch, said, the numbers showing skyrocketing arrivals are proof of that. The government needs to get its act together and achieve the sustained reduction in numbers it had promised. The loose system they put in place 16 months ago does the opposite. The Office for National Statistics, ONS, estimates that EU immigration to the UK fell from 249,000 in 2016 to 198,000 in 2019 as the end of free movement loomed large. But this was compounded by a surge in non-EU migrants as compensated from 298,000 to 406,000. As of 2019, the only data available to track immigration is UK Home Office visas, which excludes EU nationals who may have been eligible even abroad to apply for EU residency status and subsequently entered the UK. Nearly 53,000 work, study and family visas were issued to EU citizens last year, a large decline but eclipsed by the increase in immigration from non-EU countries. The introduction of a points-based immigration system has opened up half of all UK jobs to foreign workers by lowering wage and skill thresholds for migrants. Employers also used to have to prove that a UK worker could not be recruited to fill a vacancy before looking abroad. The number of occupations that qualify for a qualifying visa has been expanded significantly to include occupations such as cooks, bricklayers, electricians, welders, health and care workers, while the government has also lifted caps on most visa routes. As a result, the number of work-related non-EU visas has increased by more than 20%, from 164,000 in 2016 to 210,000 last year. Countries with the largest increases included India, with up 18%, Nigeria with 700%, the Philippines with 23%, Pakistan with 84%, and Ukraine, well, that's 20-fold, from 830 to 20,800. The new graduate visas, which allow students to live and work in the UK for up to 2 years after completing their studies, saw a larger increase of 41%, taking the number of non-EU immigrants to 416,000 from 294 in 2016. Even more notable has been the increase in other non-EU visas, including Hong Kongers and relatives of EU citizens living in the UK, which nearly tripled from 53,600 in 2016 to 165,000 last year, for a total of 843,000. British Future said this liberal approach to immigration is in line with the British public, where attitudes toward the potential economic benefits of immigration have changed over the past decade. While in 2012, 55% of the public believed that immigration would hurt economic recovery by taking jobs away from those already living in the UK, the figure was now 23%, according to Focal Data poll of 2,000 adults. Madeleine Sumption, the director of Oxford University's Migration Observatory, was more skeptical that immigration figures were higher this year than in 2016 and said she would be surprised if that were the case. But I certainly wouldn't dispute that in immigration policy we see restrictions on groups the government deems undesirable, while at the same time significant liberalization on groups it deems desirable, she added. But it is quite a surprising picture we see now, because well promised is not always well done. And once again, I just want to say a little thing about my other channels where I did some changes. Have a look in the video description. You find all my channels there. And I'll see you in my next video. Bis gleich.